The voice on the other end of the line sounded hesitant. "Hi, I just wanted to confirm something," the wedding planner began. "Your family requested to remove you from the guest list, but they still want to keep the $50,000 deposit you made." I didn't flinch. A calm smile spread across my face as I replied quietly, "Actually, go ahead and cancel the entire event." There was a pause. Then she said, "But ma'am, you're not the bride." I let the silence linger before answering. "No," I said, "but I own the venue. I also own the catering company and the hotel where all the guests are booked. My name is Alyssa Rowan, and if you think you already know how this ends, just wait, because sometimes loyalty can become your downfall. And silence, it becomes your sharpest weapon." Truth is, I was never meant to hear that call. They assumed I'd pay, like always, and stay silent. But there was something in the planner's tone that told me, this time, they'd crossed a line. So, I opened the contract. Every signature, every clause. I had the authority to shut everything down with a single email. But I didn't send it. Not yet. I sat with it. Sat with the weight of every moment growing up as the one who kept the peace. The dependable one. The one who wrote the checks. The sister who helped with the down payment on our father's house, yet still ended up sleeping on the couch whenever I visited. I thought about the day my brother proposed, how our mom cried with joy, how I covered the cost of the ring upgrade, since he couldn't afford the one she really wanted. And now, here I was, cut from the guest list, but still expected to foot the bill for their fantasy. No, not this time. This wasn't about the $50,000 anymore. It was about something far more valuable, my self-respect. So I opened a new tab, typed 6 simple words in the subject line. Event cancellation. Full authority confirmed. Alyssa. Because sometimes, revenge doesn't come with flames. It arrives in fine print. At 6:09 p.m., the cancellation went through. By 6:17, my phone blew up. Missed calls, voicemails, and a message from my mother. "What did you just do?" I didn't respond. Not yet. Instead, I watched the family group chat spiral. My brother, someone just told me the venue's canceled. His fiancé, is this a joke? Who would do that? My mother didn't say a word, likely already crafting her version of events. Let's rewind. 3 months ago, they asked if I could help cover a few early deposits to lock down their dream venue. I said yes, quietly, like I always did. Not once was I invited to the tastings, fittings, or rehearsals. When I asked why, my mother brushed me off. "You work too much. Let the kids have their day." Their day. Their fantasy. My bank account. So I stayed silent. Supportive. The ever-generous sister. Until that brunch. They didn't see me in line behind them. Didn't hear me stop when I overheard the laughter. My future sister-in-law. She's not coming, right? It's not her day. She's always so serious. And my mother, laughing like it was perfectly acceptable. Alyssa doesn't need a seat. She's just the wallet. That was the moment something inside me broke. Not a crack. A clean snap. And when the wedding planner later confirmed what I already suspected, I knew. They hadn't forgotten me. They had erased me. But what they didn't realize was that I was the signature on every vendor's contract. My name was on every invoice. They thought they could use me. They didn't know I built the entire table they planned to dine at. So I flipped it. No loud announcement. No dramatic scene. Just silence, and a chain reaction they never saw coming. And that was only the beginning, because they had no idea how much more I owned. The next day, the damage control began. My brother called 6 times. No voicemail. Just silence. like he thought I'd cave. Then finally, a message. Alyssa, I don't know what you think you heard, but we love you. This wedding matters to us. Please don't ruin it. I sat on my balcony, coffee in hand, watching the pale gray sky roll in. Please don't ruin it. As if I hadn't already poured $50,000 into a dream I wasn't invited to. As if they hadn't erased me completely. Like I was just a convenience to fund, and then forget. But it wasn't just the wedding. It was the birthdays I organized. The emergencies I paid for. Every time they dismissed me as too emotional when I asked for something as simple as respect. So no, I wasn't going to ruin it. They already had. But what they still didn't know was that the venue wasn't all I owned. The catering company. I quietly became the majority shareholder 2 years ago. The hotel. While my name isn't on the building, every contract runs through Rowan Holdings. Mine. So when my sister-in-law's family flew in, expecting their rooms, they were politely informed at the front desk. Unfortunately, your reservation has been cancelled. The group chat turned to chaos. We just landed. Where do we go? Why didn't the shuttle come? Wait, the rehearsal dinner isn't happening? I watched it unfold like a script I didn't write, but absolutely directed. Still, I said nothing. Because sometimes the most powerful lessons don't come from confrontation. They come from absence. Absence of comfort. Absence of control. Absence of the person you thought would always be there to carry your weight. Until she chose to walk away. By nightfall, one last call came through. Mom. Alyssa, you've made your point. Now put everything back the way it was. I took a breath and replied, no. You removed me from the guest list. I'm simply honoring your decision. And then I ended the call. No tears. No tremble. Because the cleanest kind of revenge is removing the floor from beneath their entitlement. The wedding was just 3 days away. And now, there was no wedding. The venue, gone. The catering, cancelled. The hotel block, erased. One by one, the vendors began pulling out. And still, no one wanted to admit how it had all fallen apart. Because admitting it meant saying the quiet part out loud. We cut out the woman who paid for it all. Instead, they spun stories. My brother told his fiancé's parents there had been a system glitch. My mother blamed the wedding planner, calling her unprofessional. And my would-be sister-in-law? She posted a pitiful little selfie, captioned, "Pray for us. Some people just don't want to see us happy." I nearly choked on my tea. Because if there's one thing narcissists hate more than accountability, it's a mirror. And that's all I held up. What they failed to see was that it wasn't just the money that was mine. It was the power. Power I had built, quietly, deliberately, while they overlooked and underestimated me. While they mocked me for working too hard, I was acquiring the foundations beneath their fantasy. That banquet hall where my brother proposed? I own 40% of the property portfolio it belongs to. The restaurant they used for their engagement party? It's part of a hospitality group I quietly invested in last fall. Each time they treated me like a credit card, I bought one more piece of the illusion. And now, the illusion was gone. That evening, my grandmother called, one of the few who had always stood by me. "You all right, baby?" she asked gently. I smiled. "Yeah," I said, just breathing a little differently. She paused. Then she said, "You gave them too many chances. But this is the first time you gave yourself one." That landed deeper than anything else had. Because she was right. I'd spent years trying to earn a seat at a table I helped build. Now I had finally flipped that table. And no, I wasn't sorry. The silence didn't last. By morning, they started showing up. Not just texts and calls, real knocking at my door. My brother was first. Wrinkled suit, no tie, sweat on his brow. Like guilt was finally surfacing. I didn't open immediately. I let him feel the weight of not being welcome. When I finally opened the door, he started talking too fast. Alyssa, look, this wasn't supposed to get this far. I didn't even know they took you off the list until the planner called. Lies. Sloppy ones. You didn't know? I asked quietly. The groom didn't know who was on his own guest list? He looked down, like a kid caught cheating on a test. You know how Mom is, he mumbled. I let out a single dry laugh. I do. And you've used that excuse for 30 years. He took a step forward like he might come inside. I didn't move. You canceled everything, he said, his voice now softer. People flew in. Her family's furious. We're being humiliated. I leaned on the doorframe. You mean I stopped funding the performance? He had no answer, so I gave it to him. You let them erase me. After everything I've done for this family, you stood there and watched them call me a walking wallet. And you said nothing. Tess, he started, stumbling over my name. I was just trying to keep the peace. No, I cut in. You were trying to keep the fantasy. He sighed. So what now? Is this really revenge? I shook my head. This isn't revenge. It's math. I subtracted myself. Then I closed the door. Not slammed. Just closed. Later that day, I got a message from one of his fiancée's cousins. Hey, just wanted to say I think what you did was badass. They treat you like a utility. I saw it. Sometimes, it's strangers who see what family refuses to. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel crazy. I felt calm. The wedding, officially canceled. The invitations, discarded. Even the florist refused a refund, said the bride had been rude on the phone. Karma doesn't need a calendar. It arrives precisely when it's meant to. I spent the weekend in peace. Watered my plants. Listened to old records, the ones Mom used to skip when guests were over. She said they were too emotional. That felt appropriate. Then came the text from Dad. You've made your point. Now fix it before this family falls apart. Falls apart. As if it hadn't been slowly breaking for years. I didn't reply. Because they didn't want a sister. They wanted a savior. Someone to clean up the mess they caused, while blaming her for breaking what was already shattered. I wasn't playing that part anymore. But I wasn't finished either. There was still one final thread to cut. The ring. The $12,500 diamond I had paid to upgrade, because my brother insisted. Make it special, he said. I'll pay you back after the honeymoon. He never did. Technically, it still belonged to me. The receipt, the certification, everything in my name. So I called the jeweler. Has the ring been altered? I asked. Nope, she said. Still untouched. Do you need us to reclaim it? I do, I replied. And I'd like it reset. Smaller. Simpler. For a gift. To myself. Because from now on, I only wear what I own. Not what was taken in exchange for silence. The jeweler paused. Good for you. That afternoon, I picked it up. A modest diamond on a gold band. No one else would know its story. But I would. That night, one last message came through. From my brother. We're rescheduling the wedding, 6 months from now. Hope you'll be there, she wrote. My mother. Still trying to reach across a bridge she helped burn. I didn't reply with words. Just a photo, my hand, a ring glinting in the light. Caption, finally married to the one person who always showed up me. By Monday, the family chat was chaos. Aunt Karen sent her usual folded hands emojis. My cousin. Wait, is this real? My mom called 5 times. I didn't answer once. They didn't recognize this version of me, the one who no longer explained, no longer apologized, no longer flinched. The woman who once begged for crumbs now owned the recipe. And this time, I wasn't handing out seconds. Then came the voicemail. My future ex-sister-in-law, furious. Tessa, I don't know what your problem is, but you ruined everything. Do you even realize how selfish you've been? You embarrassed us all. You're unstable. I listened to it twice, not because it stung, but because it confirmed everything. Even when you hand them diamonds, they'll call you stone-hearted the moment you stop bowing. I forwarded it to my lawyer. Just in case, I typed. Because spite doesn't take rejection lightly, it bites when it's starved. Then, I did what none of them could have predicted. I rebooked the ballroom, yes, the same one they once planned to use. But not for a wedding this time. For a gala. A night for women who gave too much and were thanked too little. I named it Reclaim, Rebuild, Rise. I invited non-profit leaders, teachers, artists, social workers, women like me, who once confused being needed with being loved. I called the florist. Peonies. Blush pink. But make it loud. The caterer. Use the wedding menu. But upgrade it. When the event went live online, guess who saw it first? My mother. My brother. And her. The caption read, when they erase your name from the guest list, create your own event, and let healing be the VIP. This wasn't about rings anymore. Or roles. This was about choosing myself. Fully. The ballroom glowed, warm lights strung across the ceiling, real laughter bouncing off the walls. No stiff poses, no tight-lipped smiles. Just women standing proud in dresses they bought for themselves. Stories unshrunken. Joy unmuted. At the center I stood, not hiding behind a clipboard or checkbook, but fully seen. Someone tapped a glass. They wanted me to speak. I never liked microphones. But that night, I didn't need one. I raised my glass. To the women who stayed quiet too long. To the sisters left off the guest list though they paid the bill. To the daughters who held the pieces while the family fell apart. Tonight, we stop waiting to be invited. We build the room ourselves. Applause. Soft at first. Then rising like a wave. For the first time in years, my hands didn't shake. That's when I saw them. In the back, near the doors. My mother. My brother. No gowns. No tuxes. Just guilt. They didn't walk in. They couldn't. They stood like shadows at the edge of something bright. Mom stepped forward, but a staff member stopped her gently. Sorry, ma'am, this is a private event. And I smiled. Because for once, I wasn't protected by guilt or duty, but by the boundaries I built, brick by steady brick. I watched them leave. No scene. No yelling. Just the quiet ending of a story that had overstayed its welcome. That night, I took off the ring, placed it in a velvet box. Not out of regret, but out of reverence. I whispered, thank you for what I lost. It made room for what I found. No wedding. No cake. But more love than any of them ever gave me. Just soft lights, slow music, and a room full of women who chose themselves.